guys, and welcome back to a new video, another episode of the Dissertation Diaries. So I know the last episode was a long time ago and a lot of you have DM'd me and commented on that video saying that you like the series. And obviously I did a series about my dissertation for my undergrad. This is the post-grad version. So basically this is a series, I am making the videos. I've just been very tied up with the dissertation. So now I'm getting around to making them. So this video is all about supervisions. It's a topic I didn't really touch on when I did my undergrad dissertation, and it is an important one I think to note. So I'm going to talk about the supervision that I got for my master's dissertation, how helpful it was, how it was structured, how I prepped for it, and then generally how I went from before the supervision to the advice and then how I took that advice and went forward. So for background, obviously I'm doing my master's in medical ethics and law at King's College London, and my dissertation topic is in, I should memorise the title, shouldn't I? Germline gene editing for reproductive use in the UK and the legal and ethical problems. And I'm basically trying to argue that it should be legalised in the future. We should have a law review, and then in order to do that you need to look at the ethics. So that's kind of how I've tied in the law and the ethics for my course. Supervision wise, we got no help all year pretty much. They do like 2 dissertation workshops, which is 2 1-hour Zooms, because obviously we were on Zoom. They were sort of structured. I think the first one, she had a PowerPoint, it outlined what the dissertation parameters were, and then it went to a Q&A. The second one was definitely just a Q&A, and it's where people can just literally ask whatever they want, but other than that, that was the only like help you got as a group. And then you had a 1-hour supervision meeting that you had with your supervisor, again on Zoom, and that was it. Like that was the whole supervision for my whole course, and my master's is worth 60 credits, so literally it's meant to be 600 hours worth of content and I got 1 hour of supervision. Crazy. So what annoyed me, straight into a rant, what annoyed me is that my 1 hour supervision I had to have by the end of June. So considering I had all my other essays running up until May, I hadn't really had a chance to think about what I wanted to do in my dissertation and where I was at, and I wasn't really at a point of struggle in order to need the supervision in June. I would have much rather had it in July or August, considering it's due in like September. But that's just me. I mean, I guess you're meant to do your dissertation throughout the year, but I personally just left it. So I found that when I had that supervision, I didn't really have many questions. I just went through my dissertation structure, which I basically fabricated the night before. I hadn't really done much work on it. I just done the proposal and then sort of left it. So if you watch the video for my proposal, that's all I had when I went and spoke to her, you can imagine. And I had to fill out an hour, literally 20 minutes of that hour as well was her just going, how's life? It's very like a pastoral meeting. So it wasn't the most structured meeting. I hadn't done much work for it, in fairness. So I think if you were at a later stage in the dis, then you would benefit more from it. So as I said, I ran through my dissertation chapter structure. I will put here like what I had when I went into that meeting, and then I'll put here now my dissertation structure for what it looks like now. So you can see from that meeting how I went from A to B. She was actually really helpful because I ran through my structure. I basically asked, does it flow? Should I talk about this? And because she's a subject specialist in my area, she could tell me, look at this case, and have you thought about doing it in this order? And definitely mention that ethical issue. And I had a lot of questions surrounding how many sources do I need to use? And is this too much ethical talk? Is it not enough? Has the law balanced? She really did give me a lot of insight on those topics. So in that respect, it was a very helpful meeting. My biggest tip is I actually voice recorded our meeting, because it's on Zoom, you can do that, and then I could dip back in and out of what she said to me over the coming months. And I'm so glad I did that, because if I hadn't have recorded it, 1, I would have forgot, 2, I wouldn't have been able to make notes quick enough in that meeting, 3, yeah, it was just helpful just to like dip back in and out of what she said and hear it with a new perspective. Oh, that's what she meant, or that's what she kind of was getting at here, as I'd done more research. So all in all, we did have minimal supervision. It was sort of helpful, could have probably been more helpful if it was later on, but that's just the way it goes. And then since my supervision, I basically used everything that she said and formulated a really good plan. And from my chapter plan, my dissertation chapter plan, what I showed you on the screen is like what I used to look at how I was going to research my dissertation, building my dissertation structure and schedule, which I'll also put on screen. I basically just took a monthly planner and blocked out the days where I knew I'd be working, blocked out the days where I knew I was going to be away with the army, and then the days that are left I sort of planned like, okay, I need to do this little bits of research for that chapter, write up this little bit for that chapter. I roughly knew how long it would take as well, because obviously I did that for my undergrad and I'm doing it on the same topic. My undergrad, I looked the other day, my undergrad I spent 40 hours writing in the documents, and I probably spent about the same doing research, and then probably 10 hours in lectures, talking to people, having my supervision meetings. So I'd say 100 hours all in all it took me to do my dissertation for my undergrad. This time around, significantly less, even though it's more words, because I can use what I did last year. So that's kind of reflected in my schedule. So that was the supervisions. I feel like I didn't really talk about my supervisions when I had my undergrad. So hopefully it's provided some insight into, with a master's, how much help you get. And obviously lectures are available via email throughout the year, but then they go away in the summer for a bit. So you can kind of email them for asking little bits here and there. Outside of those supervisions, I didn't personally, because I just didn't really have anything that I wanted to ask. So hopefully if you're wondering about how much help you get or how often they will give you supervision, this has helped you. If you have any questions about dissertation generally, then let me know in the comments and I'll make a future Dissertation Diaries episode on it. I've got big update for the dissertation. It's going to basically, I pushed my deadline back for it. I'll explain in an upcoming video. So the dissertation diaries are going to sort of be prolonged, I think, over the next few months, rather than jamming them all out like they were meant to be throughout my original deadline, which was September. Look out for the next episodes of it as I do my dissertation in real time, and I will see you all in the next videos. Bye!